want to tell you all one other story from Minneapolis, and that is on Friday morning. When we woke up, it was negative 20 below zero without the wind chill. And I and 3 other UCC ministers chose to join several hundred ministers who headed out to the Minneapolis-St. Paul airport, which if you watch the news, you know what eventually happened there. We joined together with many hundreds of protesters who were there demonstrating against the deportation flights, which have escalated dramatically. And there were about 100 clergy who had intentionally come in an act of civil disobedience to be arrested. And they had intentionally come. Legal aid was prepared for them. So in the midst of this 20 degree below, we were outside. They kneeled on the concrete in a row, in the road on the concrete. And then the clergy who were not being arrested, myself included, formed a line in our stoles in front of them, about 3 feet in front of them. And then the crowd of other protesters was about 10 packed behind us. And the whole time as we were, the police showed up and began arresting them one by one. We, the group of clergy in front, maintained eye contact with our fellow clergy who were kneeling there, prayed for them, prayed with them, and sang to them. And there's no way Michael would have known this, but one of the songs we sang to them was, "Here I Am, Lord." And so those words, when you started singing that song, now take on a whole new meaning of what does it mean to say, "Here I am, Lord. It is I, Lord. I have heard you calling in the dark." And I appreciate the choir offering that witness today. So, will you pray with me? Come, Spirit, come. Fall fresh upon us as we hear these ancient stories and listen for their call in our times. Guide us in the wrestling of the biggest questions, O God, and help us know you are here. Amen. Well, friends, today we stop and celebrate the relationship with our scouting partners that has flourished here at this church for almost 8 decades. 8 decades. Now, over the years here at MUCC, thousands and thousands of youth and adults have gathered, been challenged, learned new things, and gone out into the world to make it a better place. And today we celebrate that and we give thanks for all of that. And also today we resume our journey on the road less traveled, that work that we as a congregation are doing to cover the hardest parts of being a follower of Christ. Now, over the last couple of weeks, we've taken on some of Jesus's most countercultural teachings, like the choice to forgive and the choice to trust and the choice to sacrifice. And today we take on the choice to serve. And we do this all because we are reminded that to be a follower of Christ truly is to journey on the road less traveled. Now, the scripture that you heard Tom read was from the Gospel of John, and it tells one of the most poignant lessons that Jesus taught to his disciples. It comes almost at the end of Jesus' story. His public ministry is ended. He is in his final hours. He's alone with his disciples, his closest friends. After this passage, Jesus is going to pray with his disciples, and then he's going to go to a garden where he's going to be arrested. Jesus is going to be executed in less than 24 hours from when this story occurs. In John's gospel, Jesus' final act of ministry is the washing of his disciples' feet. That means that his final act of ministry was one of service. Now, immediately after the passage we read today, two pretty remarkable things happen. The first is that we find out that Jesus knows that one of the people whose feet he just washed will betray him. We find out that he got on his knees and knowingly washed the feet of the one who will turn him over to the authorities, resulting in his death. The other remarkable thing that happens right after the foot washing is that Jesus gives his disciples this new commandment, that you love one another just as I have loved you. By this, all shall know you are my disciples, if you have love among one another. So I'm just going to say it without a doubt. This is one of my favorite passages of the Bible. And it is perhaps my favorite passage because it tells us some pretty powerful things about how we are called to be in the world, about how we are called to love in this world, and most importantly for us here today, about how we are called to serve in the world. I find it so deeply moving that Jesus' final act of ministry is this humble act of service, of love and tenderness for his disciples, including the one who's going to betray him. When he washes the feet of those disciples, he's ministering to them with his hands and embodying his commandment, love one another just as I have loved you. He's showing them through service what love looks like in the most tenderest of ways. Being a follower of Christ is not about what we believe. It's about what we do. I'm going to say that again. Being a follower of Christ isn't about what we believe, it's about what we do. And this story of Jesus' final act of ministry shows us that. It shows us that it's about service. It's about feeding the hungry, clothing the naked, welcoming the stranger. That is how we live into our call. And that's the way I've seen this beloved community, including our amazing scouts, respond to the world. Last year, that looked like over $30,000 in donations alone going out into the world to organizations serving the most vulnerable of our neighbors. $30,000 in donations. Last year, that meant blankets went out to kids going into foster care. It meant elderly neighbors got a Thanksgiving meal. It meant women residents at Inter Bay and Mary's Place who had been formerly unhoused got new underwear. And it meant close to 3,000 pounds of food and almost $2,700 was collected for the Ballard Food Bank. One of the most powerful ways that we bring light to the world is through service, through showing our love and acts of generosity and compassion, and doing that in beloved community. So today we're going to welcome to the pulpit one of our own scouts and one of our scout leaders to speak about that theme of service in their own life. First off, I'm going to introduce Annabelle Brennan, who is the current senior patrol leader of the combined troop and is working on her requirements to earn Eagle rank. Welcome, Annabelle.
So, as Pastor Marci said, my name is Annabelle Brennan, and I'm the senior patrol leader or scout leader of the combined Troop 80. So I want to start by thanking Pastor Marci, all the members of the church in attendance here today, and the Magnolia United Church of Christ as a whole. It is because of your continued support that our troop doesn't need to worry about where we meet each week, if the space would be taken up by another group, or even where to store our gear. We are here today in order to show our gratitude for this continued support. As many of you may know, here in Scouts, we have a slogan that you must learn before you can achieve your first rank. The slogan is, "Do a good turn daily." While it might get overshadowed by our motto, "Be prepared," it is in no way less important. This slogan is an example of small acts of kindness. Do a good turn daily is just one way to remind members of Scouting America across the world about our core values: kindness, service, and helping others. A good turn can be any size, from getting a paper for your friend before they get to class to holding a door open for someone as they come in. Scouts is inherently a way to further serve your community and others around you, accidentally or on purpose, big or small. This past year, our troop has participated in many different service projects. An important one that we do every spring is a food drive for the Ballard Food Bank. Scouting America does an annual food drive, and we combine ours with this church's annual food drive, which is at the same time. We then work with the Cub Scouts and Pack 80 to put up flyers all over the neighborhood requesting donations. And then we collect them, as well as the ones collected by MUCC, and bring those donations to the food bank. We also support our veterans and members in the military by working with our incredible advancement chair, Mrs. Servey, to run flag ceremonies on Veterans Day and Memorial Day in Fort Lawton Cemetery. Around Christmas time, we do a similar thing, called Wreaths Across America, where we place wreaths on the graves of all who have served. Currently, as Pastor Marci mentioned, we are running an underwear drive for Mary's Place. The scout who's in charge of running the drive has made an Amazon wish list, and you can use the link to buy sets of underwear, socks, or bras to donate to those in need. If you would like to contribute, please talk to me, and I can direct you to the right person at the end of the service. Now, I've talked a lot about various service projects that we have done and are doing, but I haven't mentioned why we do them. The answer is simple: because it's a way to give back for free. I talked about this earlier, but Scouts is a way to give back to our community. If any of you here today went to the pancake breakfast last year, you might have noticed that it was run by our troop. And if you haven't gone yet, you should definitely go. It's really awesome. The pancake breakfast was our way of giving back for everything I thanked you guys for earlier. While there certainly might be external factors that push someone to help out, that doesn't change the fact that they are helping, no matter how they got there. Now, I might be a little biased, but I think our troop is awesome. I started in Cub Scouts around 3rd grade and joined the troop 4 years ago. I love the activities we do, as well as the people here. And even though I have made it pretty far, I am standing here talking to you guys after all. I really couldn't have done it without the people in my troop. I know, you've heard similar people say similar things a bunch of times throughout your life, but I truly do mean it. When I first joined Troop 8080, there were probably half as many girls as there are now. And while that might sound depressing to the people who didn't experience that, it really wasn't. We had an incredibly tight-knit group. Everyone knew each other, and everyone was extremely supportive. Even after I looked outside 8080 and at this significantly bigger Troop 80, I still noticed the same thing, even though it is admittedly a little less obvious just because of the size. The older or more advanced Scouts are helping the younger or newer Scouts throughout their journey. Now, some people say, and I'm actually one of them, that if you want to rank up, you can't be dragged along. You have to want it on your own. And while that is true in some cases, wanting it can only get you so far. There is a reason we have troops. You can't just go off on your own and complete all the requirements and then just get Eagle. Under special circumstances, sure, that might be true, but that is very, very rarely the case. We are a troop because we choose to come to this church every week, whether it's to be a part of leadership, work towards Eagle, or just make friends. And after you age out, you might leave for a bit, go to college, do the other unimportant stuff like get a job and make money, but you always do have the option to come back. Our amazing Scoutmaster, Scoutmaster Todd, is one of those Scouts. I work with him every week, thankfully not every day. I try not to bother him that much. And he came back to scouting to help younger Scouts. He even reached the pinnacle of the scouting journey by achieving his Eagle before he left. Even though Scouts has gone from Boy Scouts of America to Scouting America, we still have the same values: kindness, service, and helping others. However, though unofficial, our troop has two more that we like to uphold as well, whether we know it or not. Those are having fun and being supportive to others around us. Since I think I've probably talked enough, I'm going to hand it back over to Pastor Marci. Thank you for listening, and thanks again for all your support.
Okay, now, that was amazing. Thank you, Annabelle. Now I'd like to introduce someone well known to many of us, Catherine Middleton, who is the former Scoutmaster for the Girls Troop 8080 and who is continuing to support the combined troop as Assistant Scoutmaster. Welcome, Catherine.
Good morning. Thank you for having us here today. I'd like to start with a quick update on recent changes in the scouting program and the troop. Following a path towards increasing integration and inclusion, in May 2024, the organization originally known as Boy Scouts of America changed its name to Scouting America. The name Scouts BSA was retained for the troop level program, and shortly afterwards, a pilot program for blended troops, that's boys and girls together, was announced. Troop 80 and Troop 8080 were not part of the pilot program. However, we were effectively operating as one troop with two leadership teams. After seeing the universal success of the pilot program in other troops, in spring 2025, the committee agreed for the troops to merge when the option became available. The troops merged unofficially in June 2025 and officially in December. Troop 80 now welcomes scouts of all genders as a family troop, and we currently have nearly 50 scouts in 6 patrols, which is great, yay! Marci asked us to talk about our experience of service in scouting. So the mission of Scouting America is to prepare young people to make ethical and moral choices over their lifetimes by instilling in them the values of the Scout Oath and Law. To achieve this mission, the aims of Scouting include character development, living the values of the Scout Oath and Law, citizenship training, how to be a thoughtful and active participant in the community, personal fitness, which is respect for ourselves and others by making thoughtful choices in nutrition and exercise, and leadership development for youth starting as cubs at 6 years old through to 18 years old. This is progressive, age-appropriate training of how to be a person. Rank advancement, merit badges, and camping outdoors are not mentioned as these are not aims, but they are tools or methods. And focusing on servant leadership, especially as an adult leader today. It's a privilege and a responsibility to be an adult leader in the program. We currently have around 35 adults involved in Troop 80, either in the community or as assistant scoutmasters or as adult scouter reserve. Our role is to model for and help guide the youth to learn how to be servant leaders. This is our service to them, and it comes at a critical time. In the Scouts BSA program, which is the troop level, we have scouts join starting at 11 years old, and they can continue as a youth through to their 18th birthday. There is enormous mental, physical, and emotional development over this time period. It is also the time when young people individuate from their parents and form an idea of what kind of person they will be when they are an adult. Scouting provides a platform where young people have opportunities to learn practical skills and have challenging and rewarding outdoor experiences while working as a team and as part of their patrol and troop. Scouts learn, sometimes dramatically, that authoritarian leadership is not sustainable. Servant leadership is more successful to achieve the task at hand, as well as the long-term strength of the patrol and success of the individual patrol members. Sometimes we have to do things that are hard, or we don't particularly enjoy doing, for the team, for the patrol. The program's emphasis on community engagement and servant leadership reinforces to the youth that they are part of something bigger than themselves. It fosters awareness, kindness, compassion, and pride at being part of a community. The founder of Scouting, Lord Baden-Powell, said, "We never fail when we try to do our duty. We always fail when we neglect to do it." So what is our duty? The Scout Oath contains 3 promises: to do my duty to God and my country, to help other people at all times, which is our duty to others, and to keep myself physically strong, mentally awake, and morally straight, our duty to self. All Scouting members have the duty to be the best person they can be and work towards the common good. Thank you.
Thank you, Catherine. Scouts, it is really an honor to have you with us. So I want to just take a moment and ask our youth scouts just to stand up so we can recognize you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, y'all can sit down. You may not be aware, but in the back is also Jaden, who is one of our youth scouts. And our scout leaders, will you stand up so we can recognize you too? Thank you. Thank you, thank you. It is really easy right now to look around and be overwhelmed at all the ways that harm is being done in our communities and in our nation and in our world. And we come here to this place to be reminded that in the midst of the enormity of all of that, we are called to do justice now, to love mercy now, to walk humbly with our God now. We come here to this place to be reminded that we are not obligated to complete the work, but neither are we free to abandon it. We are each called to reach out in service, offering light, food, a hand, compassion, and the unconditional love that the world so desperately needs. Dr. Martin Luther King said, "Darkness cannot drive out darkness, only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate, only love can do that." One of the most powerful ways we can drive out darkness and hate is through service, through showing our love in acts of generosity and compassion. We drive out darkness and hate when we embody Dr. King's words and when we live into that call of Jesus to serve. And so, friends, as we go forth from this place, may we continue that precious work together to serve our neighbors and our communities and our world. Through our actions, may we drive out darkness and hate. And through our actions, may we be the bringers of the light and the bringers of the love that the world so desperately needs right now. May it be so, may it be so, may it be so. Amen.